What's up, guys? So today's video, we're not going to be working on the Viper or anything that's in here. We're working on the Dodge Dakota RT today. And I've been chasing a oil leak from the transmission for a while. Nothing serious, but we've been just kind of fixing a leaky transmission from multiple places, and I've narrowed it down now to finally where it's coming around the pan. Whatever it takes, Transmissions has been supplying us the transmission parts, so thanks again to those guys. And also check out in the description below, if you guys are looking for any driveline or transmission parts, you guys can save up to 20% off if you mention Boosted by following the details down in the description below. So right now we have coffee. It's early in the morning. I'm trying to beat the heat here. It's supposed to be a 100-degree day, and I've got a few things. So here I have an OEM oil pan or transmission pan. And the reason for this is when I was talking to Shane over there at Whatever It Takes Transmissions, he said some of the aftermarket pans can be warped. So just in case, when I take this thing apart, he sent me a OEM pan in good shape, not rusted or anything. I might hit it with some black paint that he also sent me, but I have this just in case our pan, the brand new aftermarket one that we put on, in case that's a factor if it's a little bit warped for whatever reason. I also have two different style of gaskets. So I just have your, standard traditional style gasket. And I also have this one that kind of reminds me of something like Velcro would make. So it's got all these little ribs around each bolt to seal it better. I think honestly, I'm probably gonna try and go with this one. Shane said these ones work great. Most people use this one, but I mean, this one would work, but this one just for some reason to me looks better. Also here, because we didn't install one of these the last time, in this little box, I have, if I can get it out, I have this here. So this is a drain kit. So whatever pin goes back on this vehicle, I'm gonna be installing a drain bolt kit, because you guys are gonna see in a second, without the drain bolts, it becomes a bit of a pain to get the oil out. So luckily this truck is pretty clean being down here, but I'm gonna clean it again, wipe it, and I'm probably going to drop a corner off the pan and let the fluid drain out so we can catch it, because that's pretty much brand new fluid in it. There's no point in wasting it, but just in case, if I need to, Whatever It Takes has also sent me transmission fluid as well. So if we need it, we got it, but I'd rather not waste stuff. So we'll try to catch it and then we'll get into it. So I'm curious to see on this, you guys. I'm gonna take the pan, the brand new pan, but it's an aftermarket one, off there. We're gonna lay it on the bench. We're gonna see if it's warped. If it is warped, like I said, this one's gonna go on because this one has been, looked at and inspected, and it is not warped, but we'll see what we get into. Let's go. All right, so we obviously have the truck in the air and I got everything in place. So this is what I am facing, you guys. So here's the transmission pan. We have replaced the neutral safety switch. We've replaced all the seals on the shift mechanism, and I still continue to get transmission fluid weeping around the actual bolts. So you can see there, red, and it's not like a huge leak by any means. It's just enough to kind of annoy you. So anyways, what I'm gonna do is wipe all this because there's still a little bit of dirt stuck to it, even though everything's, relatively clean. But I'm just gonna wipe it all down, spray this all with brake clean, and then I'm going to start loosening the bolts and we'll catch the fluid that's in this pan. So that's the plan. Let's get it done. All right, so we're draining it out. It's not fun, but we're getting it. So we got most of it dripping, but obviously this thing's gonna be completely level, so we'll do our best, but I think we need to move this stuff out of the way and just get it done. Okay, so I have our pan off, and this is the other one, the OEM one that we may put on, but this is the gasket that we have on here, and if I were to guess, I would say it's leaking from here. So I tried tightening it all down to spec, to torque spec, and it was still leaking, so I snugged them up. So I might have squeezed the gasket even more, but regardless, I think it was probably, like, you can see the different areas. I don't know if it was making a good seal. So what I'm gonna do is, on Shane's recommendation, I'm gonna flip this over and see if it sits flat on my little bench here and compare it to the OEM one. Let's try. All right, guys, so I have the two pans here, and this one, I don't know. I think they're pretty similar. I haven't decided if I'm just gonna go straight for the OEM, but whatever it takes. Did supply us with some black engine paint. So I'm gonna go ahead and at least clean this one up. This one's gonna take a little bit to dry and whatnot, you know, the paint. So I'll at least spray it with some black. That way we have some options and I can try to decide whether I wanna put this one on. This one does look a lot nicer. Obviously it's already gloss black. You know, it's probably a good paint job on it, but at the same time, I don't want to deal with this leaking. So I'm gonna go ahead and at least spray this one. That way we have some options. Looking at this pan here, and I don't know if you guys can see on camera, but it looks like it raises just ever so slightly in this. So if you look here, if I try to pinch this down, the other side of the pan lifts up. So I've tried this in a few different sections of the bench, I should say, to make sure it's not the bench. And like I said, if I push down over here, you can see the back of it lifting up. So that might have to do with a tiny bit of our problem. I think I'm gonna go with, I have two different style gaskets we can try, like I was mentioning. I think I'm gonna go with this style, where it has the extra seal there. So I'm thinking I might try and go with this Felpro style seal, as opposed to this. But either way, you guys, I'm gonna be installing this so that if we still have a leak, I can drain the oil easily and it won't be such a mess doing it next time. So we've got the OEM pan here, we got it painted, and now we're going to drill the hole for our drain. So I'm gonna go over here in this flat section over here. Definitely want a flat portion, and it kind of has three pieces. It has the drain part, the nut, and then obviously a drain plug. So I'm gonna position it right around here in the corner. Let's send it. So I just have a step bit I'm gonna use. So it'll make a nice clean hole. All right guys, so we got our hole there, and that is the one part. It's got the nylon on this side, which you can see. And then the opposite side, the nut has an O-ring to seal it. So we'll go ahead and we'll assemble this. Obviously that's gonna go on the inside. This will go on our outside. So I've made the hole just perfect enough so we don't get any leaks. And we'll go ahead and put that in there like you see. And then now with that snug, we'll go ahead and put in our drain bolt. I'll probably just put a bit of Teflon tape on it just so that she seals, but a 1/8 little drain plug there. And that will be it. Just since I'm feeling fancy today, you guys, I'm gonna put in one of these Earl's fittings instead because it's a little more shallow. And my truck is pretty low, so I don't want this hanging down any lower than it needs to be. This plug is substantially higher, but I mean, most trucks aren't lowered, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in just to keep things a little bit better and keep my ground clearance good. The last thing I want is for this to be snagging off the ground or something crazy if I ever hit a big bump. Okay, awesome. I'm much more happy with that than this big plug sticking up and out because this barely went in. But we got that. Like I said, gaskets, way too many pans. We're gonna go with the OEM pan, this style gasket. Let's go. Up we go. All right, guys, we've got the pan installed. Everything's done, tightened, torqued. Let's put this thing down and get some fluid in it. Okay, let's go install our fluid back in. We should be pretty close, so we didn't really lose much fluid. So we'll go ahead and dump it in. Okay, so we've got our fluid back in there, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with checking the fluid procedure on your transmission if you guys are going this far. So we'll go ahead, and you guys already know that part, but it should be good to go, and we are all done. So that's gonna do it for today's video, you guys. The truck is now fixed, and I'll keep you guys posted on that leak issue. So I think with the different gaskets and the OEM pan back on there, we should be fine. But as always, I'll keep you guys posted if anything changes. I just want to show you on this video how to get it done. So that's all done. Make sure you guys give this a thumbs up if you guys found this helpful or informative, and make sure you're subscribed because we have a lot of content on the way, and there's already a lot on this channel if you guys check it out. So make sure your post notifications are turned on so you're notified of all the latest videos, that little bell icon, and we'll see you on the next one.